Alright, hey guys, what's up? Here I am in China again, in Shenzhen. Just give you another update of the latest developments that the government's doing to keep the virus numbers down. Just yesterday they posted, or actually 2 days ago, I just found this out. They posted anybody going into Beijing is subject to a 14-day quarantine, sure, but now they're doing it here in Shenzhen and in other cities as well. They've stopped transportation, railways from province to province, meaning like if you're in Guangdong, you can go from one city in Guangdong to another, but if you're from another province, you cannot come into Guangdong on the trains. So they've stopped inter province train rides and stuff like that. The buses, I don't know how they're working on the buses because a lot of people take buses for interprovincial travel, but I don't know what's going on with that because I don't take the bus, I take the speed trains. Also, if you're coming in from, you can't come into Shenzhen from an outside province unless you've had a health check and clearance. And if you come into Shenzhen from other cities, there are about 10 cities that you come into Shenzhen from, you have to actually be quarantined for 14 days. And I think Guangzhou has the same measures. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that this trickle down effect. I think for these 10 cities, every provincial area, like Guangzhou is the capital of Guangdong, right? So I think every capital city has these measures in place. I don't know if you go to a smaller city from one of these 10 cities, if the people would have to be in quarantine for 10 days or 14 days. But I do know if you go into like the bigger cities like Shenzhen, Guangzhou, Beijing, like I mentioned, as well as Shanghai, from these, I guess because there is a concentration of clusters in these 10 cities. Um, so I don't know about going, like I said, into smaller cities. I only know that for the big cities, particularly my city, Shenzhen, they're not allowing people in from other provinces, and they're the from specific provinces, and specific cities can enter if they pass the health screening, but they still have to do a 14-day quarantine. So things are getting tighter as people return to work. Um, so they're trying to keep the influx of um, you know, people coming back that have the virus down, but I don't think there's going to be any way they can really control it. It's good they're taking all these preventative measures, but you're basically just trying to plug up a sinking ship that has holes with your fingers, and every time you plug one up, another hole pops through. So I'm thinking I've been right since the beginning of this epidemic as far as what the government will do. I was telling people, um, that the party knew, especially Xi Jinping knew prior to Spring Festival, but waited on purpose to start all these quarantines and lockdowns so that people could go back home and be with their families, and it wouldn't hit the economy here that hard anyway because it was a long holiday and business to shut down. Recently found out that on January 3rd or 4th he released, or 5th, in early January, he knew he had the information, but he decided to wait. So I was right about that. I was right about how the government decided to allow companies return to work in stages according to their contribution to the economy. I was right about that. I was right about them making people quarantine that come from other cities into the province. So everything I predicted about what about the government and their response to this has been correct. And so now I'm going to make another prediction in regards to what will happen when this virus explodes, because there's no way I mean, it's just going it will. I mean, that's just simple math with all these people when they come back at over the next week, because it's the 10th and then the 15th and the 20th and the last day, which is the 29th this year. I think this year's a leap day. So I've been trying to post a video for a couple of days about the it's there are still not very many people back here. I was walking down the street, and it just the VPN is really difficult to working. So I haven't been able to post it. By the time that one posts, it will probably be another day or two before this video actually uploads. So, but what I want to say is basically there are still not that many people back in these major cities, and the fact that they've denied entry to a lot of people from other provinces, and the fact that they're instituting a quarantine is keeping the numbers low. So the 10th, some industries came back. The 15th, some industries came back. Now, we will see if there's an influx at the end of February in numbers from this first, the 10th to the 15th, these 2 dates. So we'll see if there's an increase in numbers at the end of February because of those dates. That's about 2 weeks. And then the 20th to the 29th, in the first week of February, January, March, we'll see if there's another increase. So the next month will be interesting to see how these numbers go up or stay the same, or if they even go down. If they go down, then we know it's a good thing. If they go up, then we know there will have to be more measures implemented, and that's what I'm going to predict, is that Xi Jinping does not want to go down in history as the guy who fucked up China. His family will be shamed. He will be shamed. It's a disastrous thing for him. And so he does not want to shut off provinces and lock down every city and destroy the economy and then go down in history as a guy who was president when the virus happened and destroyed the economy because of his decisions. No, 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 no. So because of that cultural aspect, his political decisions will be affected in this way. More than likely, what will happen is they will continue all the measures that are in place now. If the numbers rise, they will not lock down Shenzhen. He doesn't want to do that. And he doesn't want to close off China. He doesn't want to close off provinces. They will only close off certain cities that are not valuable to the economy. Now, in those cities, I don't know what will happen. You will have government presence, government food rationing, martial law. But in Shenzhen, is the economic zone of China. It's a special economic zone. So business must go on here. So what does he do? Well, as I said, he continues to implement quarantines. He tells people to stay strong, be brave, face the challenge, and go to work because life goes on. He increases the medical staff here in Shenzhen. He increases the medical facilities that can handle the influx of sick patients that will inevitably be arriving. He continues to implement stop controls, which means if you live in a certain area and nobody else can go in there with you, you can't go into other communities. Temperature checks, face masks, maybe even other measures that I haven't thought about, but those main measures he will implement, and he will basically tell people, look, this situation is a kind of special situation, and it will pass. We're doing everything we can to solve the problem. Just persist and get through it. You might get sick. If you get sick, go to the hospital. But I don't think he wants to go down in history as a person who fucked up China, because inevitably he will be the person that's ultimately blamed. So because from their cultural standpoint, it affects their political policies. And so therefore I predict that he will not close off Shenzhen. He will not close off Guangzhou. He will not lock these cities down. Now, he may lock down provinces, and that is still enough for industries to continue on. That is still enough. He may lock down provinces, but he will not lock down entire cities in provinces, because that will just damage the infrastructure beyond repair. So that's my prediction, is that these numbers will go up. And as they go up, he will implement measures that will allow people to continue to work and possibly lock down provinces, but not cities. And thereby, the economy will still be able to function at some level without draining the government's resources or having to get support from other countries economically. So I don't think we're going to have a major crisis in my city. But in smaller cities, it's very possible that people in those cities are just fucked, So luckily for me, I'm in Shenzhen. I say that now, but after a couple of weeks, if it's luckily, that remains to be seen. Okay, the schools. So let me tell you what's going on with the schools, right? And I have these videos. I can't. I'm using my cell phone VPN because the computer VPN doesn't work. So I have these videos, but I can't show them to you. What they're actually doing is they're doing these online classes, and they just started. The last over the weekend, the teachers were preparing, like practicing, and then today, which is Monday, they actually started. Um, and what give you an example, what they're doing is for example, they have swimming class, right? So the instructor wears the actual swimming skull cap with the goggles, and he's teaching the class diving class. So in the frame, the picture frame is the bed, and then you see the guy like he's on a springboard, diving board, and he jumps into the bed as if he's diving. And that's how they're teaching, for example, like their PE classes diving. And so what the parents have to do is the parents have to record the video and then send it to the instructor, and then the instructor gives some feedback. And they're doing this, they have like hourly check-ins and other things like that, and they take attendance by um, digital functions. So they're trying to maintain and operate, but it's kind of funny how they're doing it. So that's just my predictions for the upcoming month. Yes, I think the numbers will go back up again, but I don't think China will take such drastic measures like they did in Wuhan all over. I think they realize now the death rate is comparatively low, um, considering what's going on in America with just the regular flu. It's not that bad. So here, so I think what they'll do is they'll try to calm people down and make them realize, okay, this is not a big deal. You're probably not going to die. You might get sick, but life will go on. And then just tell people to jiayo, which means like, come on, you can do it, and persist, and that we will make it through, and for the love of Mother China, and blah blah blah. So I think that's what they're going to do. I'm pretty sure. As I said, I've been correct with every prediction I made in regards to the government, because I've been here for so long. I know how they think, and I understand how their cultural values affect their political policies. So it will be interesting to see if my prediction rate is still 100%. All right, that's just a little update about what I think is going to happen. And as far as the education, I know a lot of people are kind of interested in how China's handling that. They have the digital system in place, and they have a platform they're using to teach kids. They're checking their homework. The kids are still learning. So life goes on. And there's still not many people back here, even though it's been 2 cycles of return to work uh, dates. So I guess by the 20th we'll see another return of industries here. All right, that's that. It's it, and peace.